I thought I found love, but I was just her weapon to win back her ex. When I first met her, everything felt like a dream. She was charming, she made me laugh, and she gave me that feeling like I was finally someone special. You know when you meet a person and you think, wow, maybe this is it? That's exactly how I felt. We clicked instantly. Late night calls, endless texts, and she always told me how different I was from anyone she had ever met before. For a while, it felt almost too good to be true. And maybe deep down I should have listened to that little voice inside me. Because as perfect as it all seemed in the beginning, I was about to learn the hard way. I wasn't her happily ever after. I was just a chapter in her story, a tool she used to get back the one person she couldn't let go of, her ex. You know, sometimes life puts people in your path when you least expect it. That's how it was with her. I didn't meet her in some fancy way. It was simple. A random connection through a friend's gathering. She wasn't just another face in the crowd. She had this energy that pulled me in. The way she smiled, the way she laughed. It felt like the universe was finally giving me something good. And honestly, I wasn't used to that kind of attention. She texted me first. She called me. She made me feel chosen. Like out of everyone else, I was the one she wanted. And for a guy like me, that meant everything. The first few weeks, magical. Late night calls, silly jokes, her telling me about her dreams and fears. It felt real. I told myself, man, this is it. This is the kind of girl you don't let go. But there were things I chose not to see. Little signs, like how she would bring up her ex's name. At first, just casual stories, random references. I brushed it off, thinking, that's normal. Everyone has a past. But sometimes, it felt like he was still in the room with us. Like her mind wandered back to him, even when her body was sitting across from me. Still, I ignored it. Because when you're falling for someone, your heart doesn't want the truth. You convince yourself everything's fine. And that's exactly what I did. I thought I was building something real with her. But I had no idea I was just a chapter in someone else's unfinished story. So, we got into a relationship. At first, it felt like I was living in a dream. In public, she treated me like I was the best thing that ever happened to her. Smiles, hugs, holding hands, like a perfect couple. But in private, it was different. Sometimes cold, sometimes distant. It felt like I was more of a backup plan than her actual choice. Then came the Instagram stories, the couple pictures, the captions. Suddenly, she was all about us. At first, I thought it was love. But deep down, it felt like a performance. Her friends started saying things like, wow, she moved on quick. And that's when it hit me. Maybe I wasn't her forever. Maybe I was just the rebound. And slowly, I stopped feeling like her partner. I started feeling like a showpiece, something she used to prove a point to the world, especially to her ex. One day, everything came crashing down. Maybe you overheard her on a call. Maybe you saw the texts. Or maybe someone close to you finally told you the truth. You realized you weren't her new beginning. You were just a tool to make her ex jealous. That moment hit you like a punch in the chest. The excitement, the late night talks, the future plans. Suddenly, it all felt fake. You sat there thinking, was I ever enough? Or was I just a placeholder until she got what she really wanted? The trust was gone. The love you thought was real vanished. And in its place, there was a heavy mix of anger, sadness, and disappointment. You weren't just heartbroken, you felt betrayed. I still remember the exact night everything came crashing down. My mind was already full of doubts, little puzzle pieces that didn't quite fit. But then, one day, I saw it all too clearly. I confronted her. I didn't go in with anger at first. I just wanted honesty. I asked her straight, do you really love me? Or is it just what I can give you? For a moment, she froze. That silence told me more than words ever could. Then came the excuses. She laughed it off, said I was being insecure, that I was overthinking. But deep down, I knew the truth. So I pressed harder. I mentioned the texts I had seen, the things her friends had slipped up about, the way she always cared more about what we looked like together than how we actually were together. And that's when her mask slipped. She got defensive. She said things like, "Well, at least I didn't waste my time. At least you could give me what I wanted." That one sentence cut me deeper than a knife. Because in that moment, it was no longer about love. It was a transaction to her. I stood there, holding back every ounce of anger. But I knew. Arguing, shouting, begging, it wouldn't change anything. She had shown me who she really was. So I walked away. Not because I stopped caring, not because I wasn't hurt, but because I finally cared about myself enough to leave. The pain was heavy. Nights felt endless. I replayed every moment in my head, wondering how I missed the signs, how I ignored my gut. But as days turned into weeks, something changed. I realized that losing her wasn't actually a loss. It was a lesson. A lesson about self-respect. A lesson about listening to your instincts. A lesson about not confusing attention with love. Yes, she broke my trust. Yes, but she didn't break me. And today, when I look back, I don't see it as the worst thing that happened to me. I see it as the best thing that never lasted. Because sometimes rejection is just redirection. Sometimes the universe pulls people out of your life to clear the path for someone better. So if you've ever been used, if you've ever been lied to, if you've ever felt like you weren't enough, remember this: it wasn't your worth that was lacking, it was theirs. They didn't fail to love you because you were unlovable. They failed to love you because they didn't know how. And me? I walked away with scars, yes, but also with wisdom, with strength, with the understanding that my love, my loyalty, my heart deserve someone who values it. So, the breakup wasn't just an ending. It was the beginning of me finding myself again. After the breakup, the real journey began, not with her, but with myself. At first, the silence was heavy. You know that moment when you wake up and instinctively reach for your phone, expecting a good morning text, only to realize it's not coming anymore. That silence, it hits harder than any words ever could. The first few weeks were rough. I won't sugarcoat it. I questioned myself. Was I not good enough? Did I fail somehow? Did I do something wrong? That loop of self-doubt plays over and over in your head. And the worst part? She was already out there, smiling, posting, living her life, while I was stuck with pieces of mine. But here's where the shift began. One day, I looked in the mirror and thought, why am I giving so much power to someone who didn't value me in the first place? That's when healing started. Not all at once, but step by step. I started focusing on myself. The gym became therapy. Every rep, every run, every drop of sweat felt like I was burning out the pain. I picked up hobbies I had ignored. Reading, journaling, even going for long walks just to clear my mind. Slowly, the version of me that got lost in that relationship began to come back. I realized something powerful. She wasn't my loss, I was hers. Because loyalty, care, and love are rare, and once someone breaks that, they don't just lose you in the present. They lose the future they could have had with you. I also learned that closure doesn't come from the other person. Closure comes from yourself. When you decide, I'm done hurting, I'm done replaying the past, I'm ready to build my future. And that's exactly what I did. I stopped checking her socials, stopped waiting for apologies, stopped hoping for explanations. Instead, I gave myself the apology I never got, the explanation I needed. She didn't value me, but that doesn't mean I'm not valuable. Fast forward to today, I'm in a better place, stronger, wiser, and more focused. And if you're watching this, going through something similar, let me tell you, healing is not about forgetting them. Healing is about remembering yourself. Because at the end of the day, love shouldn't make you lose yourself. And if someone only saw you as temporary, you walk away knowing you were permanent in your loyalty. And that's something they'll never find again.